Since humans started naming things, it made their lives easier in many ways. And although we don't know when did we start naming places, it too had a positive effect on our lives. We all have different levels of knowledge when it comes to naming country names. Some of us could only name few, while others could name hundreds in just seconds. However, when it comes to the history of those countries, getting those specific names and how they got it, we are generally in the less knowledgeable spectrum. Toponymy is the study of place names, its origins and meanings. And while there are a lot of online content discussing this topic thoroughly, we here will focus on the general trends they tend to follow while giving examples of each. For further information, you could later take a look at our references and especially the research done by Quartz, a business journalism platform, and the Oxford Concise Dictionary of World Place Names. Many countries have different English names from the name the country calls itself, its endonym. And in such cases, the name origin of the country is of that the country calls itself. And while not all the origins of country names fall within these four categories, most of them do. These categories being a tribe or ethnicity, a feature of the land, a directional description, a person. Almost a third of the world's countries get their names from the names of tribes, ethnicities, kingdoms, and certain aspects of their people. One such country is Russia, which means land of the Rus being a group of Swedish Vikings that lived there. Germany shares a similar naming method. It comes from the Germanic people, which refers to the people that lived east of the Rhine River. However, its endonym, Deutschland, means the people's land in the Old German language. Other countries that got their names from the names of tribes, ethnicities, kingdoms, and certain aspects of their people include Bangladesh, in which Bangla is believed to have come from Vanga, which was an ancient kingdom in the Indian subcontinent, and Desh is the Sanskrit for land. Sudan, named by the Arabs, Ethiopia, named by the Greek, and Guinea, named by the Portuguese, all share similar meanings, land of the black people. Other such examples include France, named for the Franks, Belgium for the Belgi, England for the Angles, Italy for the Vitali tribe, Turkey for the Turks, and Mongolia for the Mongols. The same goes for most of the Stan countries like Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. On the screen, there are other countries that share similar naming methods. The second largest source for country names is a local feature or aspect of the land. A good portion of these get their names from the names of local rivers and bodies of water like India. India gets its name from the Indus River, which is derived from the original Sanskrit name of the river, Sindhu, which means the sea. Argentina was formerly referred to as Tierra Argentina, which means land beside the Silvery River. The Silvery River being Rio de la Plata, also known as River Plate, and is found east of the country. The name was later shortened to just Argentina or Silvery. The country of Chad has a similar naming method due to the Lake Chad located in the country's southwest. Both Nigeria and Niger got their names from the Niger River, and so did Uruguay and Paraguay from the Uruguay and Paraguay rivers. Other countries that got their names from local features and characteristics of the land include Algeria. Algeria got its name from the country's capital city, Algiers, or Aljazair in Arabic, which means the islands. This refers to 4 islands of the city's coast. These islands have later joined the mainland. Brazil gets its name from the national Brazil wood tree, which is called pau Brasil in Portuguese, meaning red dyewood. This tree contains a red dye which was used in Europe throughout history to color fabrics and cloth. Netherlands got its name, which means lowlands, from the Dutch neder, meaning low or down, due to the area's general low elevation and its many cities being below sea level. An obvious country name that was originated in this way is Côte d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast in English due to the country's involvement in the trade of ivory tusks. Iceland, on its turn, was named by Norse settlers in an attempt to misguide and deter visitors or invaders, for it had warmer annual temperatures than is expected for a country so far north. Another such country is Ecuador. Ecuador got its name due to the fact that the Earth's equator passes through the country, Ecuador being the Spanish equivalent of equator. On the screen right now, you can see other countries that share similar naming methods. The third main way in which countries get their names is directional descriptions, either it be the country's intrinsic location or its relative location in relation to other countries. Australia got its name from the Latin term Terra Australis Incognita, meaning unknown southern land, which referred to a hypothetical southernmost continent that the Greeks thought must exist in order to balance all the landmass in the northern hemisphere. A country referencing the opposite direction is Norway, the Norse word for which means northern way due to the country's northernmost location. The name China is most likely derived from the Qin dynasty, which ruled the region in the 3rd century BC. Its common endonym, however, Changguo, translates into the Middle Kingdom or Central Nation, since from where they're sitting from, they're actually in the center of everything. Japan's endonyms Nippon and Nihon Both mean the sun's origin, and hence the country name is often translated as Land of the Rising Sun, which refer to the country's eastern location relative to China. Morocco's endonym on the other side, Al-Maghrib, is the Arabic for the extreme west or land of the sunset. On the screen, you can see other countries that share similar naming methods. Before we continue into the fourth category, if you have found this content to be useful and informative, please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting content to come. The fourth main way in which countries tend to get their names is through the names of historical figures and people. One such country is the United States of America. It and all the Americas have gotten their names from the same Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, who was the first person in the year 1501 to demonstrate to the Europeans that the newly found lands in the West are not parts of Asia, but rather a newly found continent which wasn't previously known. It was named America in Amerigo's honor. The country of Bolivia is named after the revolutionary Simón Bolívar, who is one of the leading generals in the independence wars in South America. Colombia is another country that's named after a historical figure, and this person is obviously Christopher Columbus, who is the Italian explorer that actually explored most of South America but not Colombia itself. However, it was named after him. The Philippines got its name in the 16th century from the Spanish Filipinas, in reference to the lands of Prince Philip of Austria, who later became King Philip II of Spain. Now obviously most of these countries have gotten their names from male figures. However, there is one exception, which is the island country of St. Lucia, which got its name from a female figure who is St. Lucia of Syracuse. The countries listed on the screen are other countries that have also gotten their names from historical figures and people related to the country's history. Some country names don't fall within any of the mentioned four categories and have disputed origins. One such country is the country of Venezuela. Venezuela, or Little Venice, got its name due to the fact that its own water stilt houses reminded the Italian explorers of the buildings in Venice, Italy. When the Dutch used to rule the region, nowadays Indonesia was called Dutch East Indies, in reference to the country's geographic location. However, its current name, Indonesia, comes from the Greek Indos Nessos, meaning Indian Islands. We could say that Pakistan belongs to the first category, and the country's name means Land of the Pure, from the Urdu Pak for pure. However, that's not how the name came about. Before Pakistan gained its independence, it was named so as an acronym for the 5 northern regions of British India: P for Punjab, A for Afghanistan, K for Kashmir, I for Indus Sindh, and the suffix from Baluchistan. And finally, the most amazing country name origin story is probably that of Bhutan. Bhutan's name comes from the Sanskrit Bota Anta, meaning end of Tibet, due to the country's location in the southernmost of the plateau. However, its endonym, Drukyul, literally translates into Land of the Thunder Dragon. As we've seen, country names could have vague origin stories, no definite story, or multiple interpretations. This being said, we've also seen that not all countries have been named by their own people. Some countries have been named by outsiders, such as settlers and explorers, in an often very disregarded manner. A country's name may or may not reflect an aspect of the country. In the comments down below, write where does your country's name come from, and if you like the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe for more interesting content to come.